Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Western Wednesdays, where I watch a number of the most beloved and critically acclaimed westerns for the very first time. And today's movie is going to be The Big Country. Who's in this? So we've got Gregory Peck, who was in one of my favourite horror films of all time, The Omen, and he was also, of course, in To Kill a Mockingbird. Charlton Heston is in this film, and he was in one of my favourite films of all time, the original 1968 classic, Planet of the Apes. Of course, they also know him from Ben-Hur and The Omega Man. What do I know about the plot? Well, I think all I know is that it's about two rival families that are feuding over land, and that begins to escalate. And that's pretty much all I know about the plot. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit the subscribe button. That would be fantastic. But with that said, let's get into it. Does anyone else really love the kind of that galloping sounds of the hooves of the horses when they're hitting the ground as they're running? There's something really satisfying about that sound. Such grandeur to the music, it would suit, like, you know, at the Olympics or something. There's Gregory Peck. I'm used to seeing him with grey hair because I've watched The Omen so many times. Oh, that's Charlton Heston.
I'm Steve Leach, foreman at Ladder Ranch. How do you do? That's right.
I'd say because he's in a suit, he kind of looks at him and thinks he's like, oh, I'm a big shot. Well, I could be wrong. That's a bit early to make that assessment. Just the way he kind of just that lingering look. Okay, he's not happy about those guys.
Come on, let's get out of here.
I declare I wasn't gone more than a minute.
I declare.
Oh, we're going to be a public scandal.
The reason I mention it is that the Hennessy boys are in town. They've been drinking.
We'll be all right, Steve.
I'd say Charlton Heston or someone is going to have to come and like assist him, and that will kind of, in their minds, kind of confirm that he's not capable, I guess. Like, with a change of music, this scene could appear so much more sinister. Although, maybe not with that. Jesus. Yeah, confirmed shitheads, not that we didn't know that. Yeah, it is. Jesus. You're in your place, you're a nice, neat, clean guy, but you have no power. Yeah. Maybe the father will be the main villain. I love those front porches. They're so cool. I would just love a little rocking chair, kind of like an old person. Yeah, it's just stunning. Absolutely stunning. I think it is a good way of getting you behind Gregory Peck's character. The vibes Charlton Heston is almost testing him and just kind of isn't quite sure about him. So it's a good way of kind of getting behind the character.
Don't let anything Steve Leach said bother you. Doesn't bother me. I seem to bother him. Steve's a little rough.
So I was right.
What are your plans for the future? A little vague at the moment. If it's romance you're after, we certainly can find
Story of my life. McKay is going to be his son-in-law. He's feeling ashamed that he didn't stand up to them because it looks bad on them.
What are you hunting today, Mr. Leach? Hennessy's?
Yeah, I'm baffled by that as well. That's a great scene. That was just a really good scene. Just the way everything was set up, the tone, even the silence. It was the last video with the searchers. Like, it's just setting alone can just enhances the entertainment value so much. They're like acting the same way, like, you know. It's almost like it represents him as kind of like the outsider. He'll conquer it. To quote Worf from Star Trek. No response. Oh shit!
I know exactly how you feel. I don't like violence one bit better than you do. What we did today had to be done.
Giving the guys a few belts, like, yeah, that was deserved, but terrifying the other people, that was unnecessary. It probably feels like he can relax now and everything is done, but obviously they're going to come back and retaliate. It's a great shot. You just see Charlton just standing, lingering on the outside of it all. Not, that could be, what was it, Roosters, I'd say his name was? It's piling up nicely.
You come
come a riding roughshod over my land, scaring the kids and the women folks.
He's right.
And you invade my home, and I give you warning. You set foot in Blanco Canyon once more, and this country's gonna run red with blood. What's the matter? Did you shoot a man facing you?
Is that alluding to something from the past?
Let's boil
Without
it.
hurting one person,
I promise you that
the
this sort of thing will
Hennessy,
never
like,
happen again.
his visit was far more impactful. It's really, I like that. There's layers to it. Just really like this.
I can see you two were just plain made for each other.
There's a lot of pieces of shit in this film.
Hold it right there. Took the survivors and buried them alive up to their necks. Shall I go on? In anthills. Red anthills.
He passed out from the store.
Now, what was the point of your story?
Suppose a fellow like myself were to settle out here.
Keep the peace. Expect him to not give it to the Hennessy's because out of
Miles?
loyalty, I guess. This is what's going to bring the quarrel right back to the boiling point. I mean, you probably should apologize to this. Sorry, I didn't realize this. You're not looking for me, you know.
Fight you want? You picked the right time for it.
What?
I am to prove it. Right
Bloody
here.
Bearing it all, like the father there as well and everything.
I think that could be a very fine idea. Good night.
Maybe he'll end up with Jennifer. To be honest, he's probably better off. Kind of a clash of personalities between the two. At least you know he's willing to fight you, so you can't say like he's a coward. Out?
Like we say, McKay, you take a hell of a long time to say goodbye.
Shit. Yeah, this is gonna be the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, the Hennessy's are completely in the right now to retaliate. And right to be furious.
Ain't you dead?
How many times does a man have to win you? I think it's a downright deceitful way of acting.
She's annoying me now.
How can you change your mind after one silly misunderstanding?
It goes much deeper than that. It's finished.
Oh, and Buck wants to get Buck to marry Julie as well. So yeah, there's more friction between characters.
I don't mean to reproach you. It's the last thing I want to do.
This is the way she's going about it all. He has to keep proving himself. Prove himself.
Everybody.
Surprised dead man you ever saw.
If he's using her as like a bait, then I gave him more credit than I should have. He is honourable in some ways, the father.
Act like a dog, crawl like one.
There's so many like animosities going on.
You're just using this for an excuse to start your own private war.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Hennessy, I'm Jim McKay.
I know who you are.
You've got no more reason to hold her here. I own the big money now.
Got any proof for that, boy?
Right here.
Just hold your seat.
Nope.
Buck,
It was only him taking it out, like teared or something.
the Hennessy's will have no peace till the bones of Henry Turl is
Yeah,
bleaching in
he's
Blanco Canyon.
the same as the
Now,
Major.
he started
Look out, Jim!
Shit. Fuck, I thought he shot for a second.
this talk.
He has more redeeming qualities than the Major. He's gonna have a duel with the father. Oh yeah, they're all coming. Fourth film though. It's the first duel I'm gonna witness.
Go ahead.
Is he gonna gun him down? Or is he going to just wound him? I mean, what's the point? You've already won. Yeah. Someone facing with a gun, you are going to be terrified. Oh, jeez, he's not going to try and attack him again, is he? Oh, you flippin' idiot. I mean, how many chances do you want? Yeah. Oof. That's cool, that shot from above and you see the two of them about to meet. When does one start? Like, I mean, you wait at a certain point. Right. Oh, okay. Wait, did the boat get shot? Boat. You know, it's kind of fitting. In order to end the animosity, they both have to go, because it's kind of like when they had their fight, they were both kind of spent. They just kind of agreed that was it. It was over. So I just got done watching The Big Country, and I have to say, a real return to form after my disappointment with The Searchers. First and foremost, Gregory Peck, I thought he was fantastic. They did a great job of really making you get behind his character, McKay. Like from the get-go, the whole incident with the Hennessy brothers and how Charlton Heston's character Leach kind of eyes him up. You can just tell he doesn't think much of him because he comes in the suit and tie and just he doesn't look the part. I think he's not tough, and the fact that he's different. He's a different kind of character in these kind of films. He doesn't have that bravado. A little bit like Gary Cooper in High Noon. You know, Gary Cooper's character in High Noon, Kane, he didn't want this to happen. He wasn't looking for it to be this kind of, you know, trigger-happy, gun-blazing hero. And Gregory Peck almost kind of sees through a lot of the bullshit, kind of, in a way. You know, he'll defend himself if he has to, but to him, he doesn't have to. It doesn't matter to him if they think he's a coward or if they think he's like the bravest person that's ever lived. That stuff doesn't matter to him. And just, you really get on his side because you see these other characters. You see the Baron, how he is. You see how Leach is. You see how the Hennessy brothers are. You even see his fiance Pat, even how she is. Like, she questions him because he didn't stand up to Leach and deny that when he'd been away for a while about being a coward, and he didn't basically stand up to him and like almost just fight him right there. You know, that's not his way of doing things, and he sticks to his guns. No pun intended. Also, just the characters themselves, there's great layers to them. Like, you know, initially you obviously you're following McKay, and he's engaged he's engaged to Patricia, so you feel you're with that family almost, you know, with her father, the Major, and with Leach and all them. And then on the other side you've got the Hennessy's and their father Rufus, who, that's a really interesting character, because you just kind of assume because of how his sons behave that he's just, obviously it stems from him and you're not going to think much of him. But when he comes into the house during the engagement party, and when he has that talk with the Major, that's one of my favorite scenes in the whole film. And you're like, oh, this guy kind of has a point in a lot of ways. Like, you kind of almost see him as the good guy in this moment, even though our main character McKay is at this point aligned with the Major. You know, he's with his family and they're having this, you know, this fancy party and all that. But there was so much depth and layers to the characters, and the whole line that that Rufus throws to the Major about something about, like, you know, you're not gonna try and shoot me while I'm facing you, or do I need to turn my back to you, or something along those lines. There was really something there, like that just moment just created so much between those two characters. And then when we get to the end where they have that duel, it just comes full circle. They plant the seeds brilliantly. It's the same kind of, even just when I was going back to at the beginning with Charlton Heston's character Leach, and how he looks at McKay, and just kind of the way he kind of, the tone in his voice at times. Again, they're planting the seeds and they end up having that fight. And both kind of battles kind of end similarly, where Rufus and the Major end up killing each other. Obviously, they're gunshots, so they both know there's no winner. And kind of a similar thing happens with the fight between between McKay and with Leach as well, where they both kind of acknowledge, you know, they both kind of had enough almost, they're both done. And that was an interesting kind of, it mirrored each other. But the difference is that McKay is able to let things go. You know, he's not going to push it to the limit. You know, he won't, like, he people can underestimate him if they want, but that doesn't matter to him. You know, he's gonna want to be with the horse. You know, he doesn't want anyone to know. He does it in secret. He doesn't want to show off. He wants to keep himself hidden, so not everything is revealed about him. And we see it as well again at the end, when he has the duel with Buck, Rufus' oldest son. And then we see it then at the very end, where like he just where Buck is just cowering in the corner, and Rufus just like, you know, he's nothing left to prove here. You know, he doesn't shoot him, he doesn't kill him. He's not cold-blooded. And yeah, I really like this character, and the landscapes, the locations were fantastic. Maybe like a tinge too long. Maybe trim maybe 20 minutes. That's a minor criticism. Maybe trim 10-20 minutes off the film. But as I said, the landscapes, the scenery was fantastic, beautiful, great characters. Yeah, just a really good film. Really enjoyed it. But let me know in the comments though, what did you think? Like, where would you rank The Big Country? Would you rate it as high as I did? Do you think it's maybe a bit too long? How did you get the characters? Just whatever you think, just throw in any of your thoughts. Love to hear them. But until next week, guys, it's long fall.